Good evening. Felt like it was a good day good time to do a reading. It's been a few days. Okay, we're preparing for a new month coming up, the ninth month, which I understand is having to balance the snake. So, Sept in September actually has to do with the number 7, but it's the ninth month, which is also why traditionally school starts in September. And so, whenever we think of school, the first thing I always think about is the apple. I don't know why. And the other day I was digging through my stuff, and I have this little tiny apple. I think it's a Christmas ornament that I made or was given to me or something like that when I was in kindergarten, first grade. And it's just one of those special things that's in my effects that I don't know how it's survived this long. Certain things, how everything I've lost in the past, natural disasters, people stealing from you, selling things off, losing things, and some things just somehow stick around. Like, it's unbelievable. It's the things, ironically, that somehow have some like great sentimental effect that will matter later on in life. But the things of value can be, you know, you spend a lot of money on, or, you know, later on, it doesn't seem to be worth that much. But it's still good for something, and somebody else will find great value in it, and it'll be important to them. Which I think has a lot to do with my channel and why, for instance, even if I go on and do something else, this channel is going to stay here. I don't see any reason to take it down. And it's kind of a collective space, like a family room. It has everybody's stuff and my stuff. And we've all worked really hard on what we put together, and there's just so many different viewpoints in it at the same time as, um, it's been really healing for me and a lot of others as well. Really triggering both directions too, but that's important because when we get triggered, then it shows where we need to work on ourselves or to look at things differently. I was thinking earlier how sometimes I can come off, especially if it's just in text, uh, really harsh. And especially maybe if I'm intoxicated. Or if I'm intoxicated and I'm pissed off and I got nowhere to put it. But all through my life, previously, I've always been treated really harshly or separated out, so I had no one to talk to and nobody to help me, and no resources to get any help. And and silenced a lot with it, and having a really harsh upbringing, both harsh and empty. So everything's coming like full circle. And I find myself coming personally to a really good spot, slowly but surely, of balance and maturity. It's funny how I've been married a couple times previously and had kids previously, but I'm so lucky in a way that I didn't get to keep any of them, and that they worked out the way exactly the way they did. That way, it can work out just right, perfect, as good as it could work out when I come together with my ultimate partner, or however it goes. Even if we're together a few years and we decide to go a different direction, like it won't be like other people's divorces. It would be more like a business decision, but not, like, I mean, I can just foresee that because of how balanced and the way I am and the way they are, and there wouldn't have to be any problems in it. But ideally, it always seems right that we end up having one family. But the wonderful thing about the world that somehow makes it beautiful is having multiple families, where a husband and wife get together when they're young, and then they get separated, and then they got their kids, and maybe like as teenagers, maybe they swap, like, or the kids live here sometimes and there sometimes, and then they get remarried, and then they have extra kids, but they're not extra, and then you have this really mixed family, and everybody has to balance it out, and their own feelings, like, oh well, I made this one. Don't you be calling your stepmother mom, or well, I'm your dad. Don't listen to the other guy, and that shit doesn't ever fucking work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Nobody owns anybody like that, and that shows the maturity in how babies raising babies, right? It's the oldest joke in the book. And I'm slowly learning to be more gentle with myself and others, and I see it's like hindsight's 20/20, they say, and so it made sense that now that over the last couple of days, and a few times over the last week, I've gotten drunk a few times, but I put it all back in, into the collective, and then it's seeds for the future. It's teaching tools. It's confidence builders. It's also getting to look at right after some of the walks, let's call them. I see how fucked up that looks. And I'm like, man, that's kind of shameful. Or, what kind of impression does that make? But then to hide it afterwards really isn't good either. Almost so is like, whenever I get drunk and I make some videos, I wake up in the morning, I'm just like, oh shit. And I've done it in the past, so I just wake up and I fucking delete it all. I just get fucking scared. and I'm learning to face it and to sit there and watch it. Like, maybe to put it on private and then come back to it later in the day and be like, okay, let's see how fucking stupid it is. Yeah, what this looks like. And then even if it is, then releasing it again. And releasing it, so you're not throwing it away. This is doing it for, but then it's running from yourself. And if it's teaching tool and showing our development, well, might as well keep it. That's the beauty of it, right? And that's something for others to see parts of themselves, or I'm starting to learn like a manifestation pool where I can come back to it maybe later and use myself, which a lot of the artists do, the singers in particular. So they've been trained to give away a little secret of the industry. It maybe help, maybe not. It is what it is. Each finds their own way, but where they get all fucked up, right? And then figure out God and this and that and get like kind of like the shit that I made, but then to do it in the corner by themselves. And then to be like, oh, I gotta hide. And then, okay, and then later on, be like, okay, now I'm gonna look at what I did. Or look at the stuff in it. And then I'm gonna jump out of the, and I'm gonna talk back to myself. Or I'm gonna, I'm gonna give myself some love. And when it looks like I was hurting, or whatever, and healing ourselves. But then, that's developed over time until, and in some cases, because of the way things happen to be, I've been used as that sort of tool also, which is why all this stuff in here is relevant. It's part of our family journey together as a human family. And when I die or anybody dies, nobody should just go back up in the box like it never existed. That's not right. Not for me or anyone else. It shouldn't be changed by anyone else. I mean, if I feel like, something needs to be tweaked up or whatever, I can do that as my fucking space, right? But in the past, I've been made to feel insecure about that because of all this biblical stuff in the Bible. And them trying to use the Bible against me as a curse. And each of us, but I've been told specifically, however each of us wants to see it, that I'm the book. So I can rewrite a fucking page if I want to. I can tear a page out and burn it if I want to. You can't really hold that against me. It is what it is. And it's nobody else's stuff, even if I delete it. It isn't for somebody else to be like, he doesn't have a record of it, so now it's mine. Oh, yeah? You still didn't make it. It still ain't you. That's fucked up. That's cheating on the whole human relationship, with oneself and each other. And sure, it's the rare stuff, it's the weapons of Christ, you could say. But each of us, it always has to come back down to working on ourselves and not over idolizing anyone, whether they're a star, whether they're your dad, whether they're your favorite kid, or, everything has to find balance somehow together, and there isn't really anything apart. There's one hole, and we're all up in it. And of it, and the pie's in the face, right? It tastes good. Just lick it off. So I was thinking what I should do. I had some outdoor time, and I used to have a lot of plants and an indoor light. I have a little garden, but it was all bonsai plants, that I just love to have. But now that I'm in the basement, I don't have a light anymore, and I'm down to a couple plants, and it's just a totally different thing until I get my own place again. And so it's all upstairs, and in the dining room near my mom's plants. I pretty much do most of taking care of. And I need to repot them. So I might have you sit with me whenever, and we'll repot some plants. Either way, I'm going to this afternoon. So I need to, and reduce it before winter. There's an extra pot that doesn't need to be there since we're in the, you know, and I should have done it a couple months ago before we're getting into fall, but I've been procrastinating. So September, and this balancing the corner and the snake and the mind and the seven C's and all this, the apple, and we can just take it one day at a time. Have a few weeks to all have any kind of funds. Personally, just going to school, come home, spend time with my friends and family on here. And mainly listen a lot, more than talk or anything. So what was I going to say, but it got away from me. Oh, so my goal for the month, it's probably a curse for me to even bring it up, but I'll say it anyway, because that's accountability, right? And if everything we say goes against us, well, then that's in the record. And it's important. We can't be like, oh, that's bad luck. Well, if it's bad luck, then, then we just have to work on it, right? Rather than sweeping everything under the rug and keep it too much to ourselves and then nobody knows. But I want to make it through the month if I can without drinking. But if I do drink, it'll probably be in 3 or 4 weeks if I decide to go to a concert that my brother brought up. I'd really like to one day go to Coachella with someone. That'd be pretty cool. And what's the address? I looked it up. I was like, no shit. It's 51 something or other. I didn't know the name. Coachella makes me think of Coach and Yella. Just automatically makes me think wolf. Yeah. But I see it's kind of a training ground. Like, I don't know anything about Coachella. I just glanced over it the other day, but man, there's just bands and bands and bands and bands and bands, like, and it's 2 different weekends, and I see it's really like a place where bands that are up and coming really can get their stuff out there, and so that's pretty cool. So it's kind of a training ground, and then of course you have some major artists, like this year was, I don't know, all I can think of off the top of my head is Lady Gaga, but out in the desert. Well, let's pull some cards here and see what the person on your mind might be overcoming, or what you might be going through at this time. It looks like there's some protections as well as fleeing that's being balanced out. Overcoming our defense mechanisms, and while having boundaries at the same time as letting down our guard. So it might be something you might be going through. Along with, overcoming a poverty mindset. So, wealth and abundance really just has to do with if we're worried about the bills or, the basics too much, it's really a poverty mindset. And sometimes about how we're going to get the money too, rather than being appreciative of what we have, where we are. And abundance is in that on its own. But what we got here? There's 120 cards in this deck, and I don't think I've seen half of them. It's really stick together too. It's always like the same ones that come out. We get diplomacy. Blessed or blessed are the peacekeepers. Skill in managing relations, tactful negotiation, and mediating effectively, which comes as Libra and Taurus balancing. Libra season's coming up, but I think that's in October. You get preparation. The other thing I was speaking about, how I'm cleaning today and organizing and just getting ready, like fall cleaning kind of thing. Getting ready for a new cycle. Organizing. It's great. It's a great time to do that on Labor Day weekend, right? It's Labor Day, right? I always forget Memorial Day, Labor Day. Which one's which? I think it's Labor Day. You probably know better than I do. But it's a good weekend to rest and recoup. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's a funny one. It's a funny one. Process of getting ready, planning for the demands of a future situation. Sounds good too. And that's where we're at. I really like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Because a pound of cure, well, yeah. What good is it to have a cure if you don't have the disease? And if you take too much of a cure, then you get sick. And what's an ounce of prevention if you can't measure prevention? And by preventing things from happening, sometimes you keep things from learning and teaching itself. And so there's a lot of cleverness in that statement. Let's do one more here. She gave us 5 extra cards. I'm going to pick one I haven't seen before. Acceptance. Beggars can't be choosers. That's clever because beggars are choosers. Because if you're begging for what you want, right? Usually, if you're begging your parents, you're like, I want this, I want this, I want this. But then you don't get to choose when you get it, or if you just get it, there's your choice, and now you you don't get another choice because you got your choice, and so now be satisfied with what you asked for. You're at a dead end, but you're satisfied, and technically somebody's already taking care of you, so then they don't really have necessarily any obligation to do anything for you later. Assent to the reality of a situation, relinquishing need to control and direct. Very good. And what were the signs on that? Virgo and Libra. Lots of Libra energy coming through. Feeling really, I don't know the right word for it. Just like blank, like spacey. Maybe that's something you're going through too. Maybe it's overstimulation, overworked. Too much information. Maybe it's stagnancy. You need to get out, do something different. Get some fresh air. Go for a walk. Sit in the silence. It's pretty hard around here. Turned on the water every step while they're making dinner. That's all that creaking is. The kitchen's right above my room. Of course, anything goes wrong in the kitchen. If there was a fire or a pipe break, guess who fucking gets it? Everyone else. They're good to go. It's happened a couple times. Not the fire part. Well, not explicitly. Figuratively. Or metaphorically. But the flood, yeah. Lost a lot of stuff in this room. When I lived here previously. 10 years ago or so. Almost, 15 years. It's been 15 years since I lived in this house. When I move out this time, I'll probably never live in this house again. Even if both my folks died and I inherited it, I don't know. This house definitely needs some fucking love. It did when we moved in. It needs electrical redone. Fuck it. Needs, I don't know, we finally got the new roof. It needed a new roof since for the last 25 years. The garage needs to be totally torn down and rebuilt. Hardwood floors upstairs need to be torn out, and stripped and redone. The place just needs the entire total renovation. It costs a lot of money. That's the thing about a house, you know. In most cases, it's still worth it. To start from scratch, but keep what there is, rather than to tear the whole thing down and build a new house. Like, we got a fireplace upstairs, but never, shit, it probably ain't been used in 20 years. I really miss that fireplace. So that might be something that relates to you. I think the message is done for now. I need some fresh air. I'll see you later.